Hello and welcome to my first Warlords build video. Today I'm going over my solo build utilising the Chameleon. Now I'm very much aware that the Chameleon is a controversial point. So many people love it and so many people hate it simply due to its accuracy as well as its mediocre damage before you acquire the buffs on the weapon. I'm also quite aware that a lot of people have probably done builds for this video, but I've tried to avoid them and just sort of play around with things myself and get to a relatively happy place. And this is me just comfortably soloing a heroic. Although I've not gone with a traditional setup, some things still require me to finalize and really work out the kinks, and I am definitely looking for a better backpack, chest and holster. Although my backpack I don't feel is too bad, the talent on it isn't really something I am wanting to go for. Overall though, my build so far has proved quite worthwhile. Before buffs I hit around 4 to 5 million DPS. With buffs of the Chameleon I can go up to about 8 to 9 million, and if I'm lucky enough with the RNG of the spray of the weapon I can push that into about 11 million utilising headshots. So first of all we're going to have just a quick overview of the build. So obviously Chameleon, which is going to be my main damage dealer. For targets at longer range I will be switching to the M1A. I am using Baker's Dozen at the moment, I just haven't really got a better one. Coyote's Mask, Ephemeris Chest, GS Holster, Walker Harris Backpack, and obviously Contractor's Gloves and Fox's Prayers Knees. Overall I have found this to give very good capability. Ephemeris Chest obviously 10% assault rifle damage. The GS Holster gives me 15% critical damage. Walker Harris Backpack, another 5% weapon damage, really helping out the Chameleon's lower end base damage because it really does rely on the fire rate. And then obviously Contractor's Gloves and Fox's Prayers are for the damage to armor and the damage to targets out of cover. These are multiplicative stats, so they really are very much worthwhile. So I'm just going to show off my Chameleon here. I've got a pretty decent-ish roll, near enough maxed out on all of the stats, and the way it works is 30 headshots give you 20% critical hit chance and 50% damage. 75 body shots increase your base damage by I think it was 90%, and after, I don't really care for the whole leg shot buff, but it's 150 reload speed. My Baker's Dozen is pretty good damage wise. Obviously the perfect lucky shot isn't really a good stat, it helps with ammo consumption, but Coyote's Mask, again I've got a really pretty damn good roll on this, and I will be opting in for the 0 to 15 meter buff, allowing me to get another 25% critical hit damage. Ephemeris Chest, obviously this could be a bit better. I've got good weapon damage, crit hit chance, but it's that skill haste that I'm really worrying about. I'm running with Obliterator, not Intimidator, because I do find that on occasion I will need to be at a bit more range, and if I've got the damage buffs on the Chameleon I don't want to swap out to Baker's Dozen to lose those buffs. I would rather keep them and just spam a bit of ammo. Being that I'm running Gunner, I will make up for that ammo every 60 seconds, hopefully. Overall though, I don't feel I've got a bad chest. Just that skill haste is kind of doing me in there. I wouldn't mind a bit of weapon handling to help sort the weapon out, but preferably I would want a bit of crit hit damage in there, or at least headshot damage. Up next is my holster. Again, this is something I really do need to work on. Damage is pretty good, the crit hit chance on there is okay. It's not really required though. But the armor regen, although it's kind of handy when in a pinch, it's not really something I would want, particularly if I could get more damage out of the weapon itself. I do have other holsters, but I have found going for the Gruppo with the 15% critical hit damage has really helped me out, and I would suggest as well sticking around with trying to max out your critical hit damage. For my backpack I am using the Matador with the Perfect Adrenaline Rush. This isn't really something I want, this is just one of the best backpacks I've found for overall damage, and I don't mean this backpack in particular. I just mean, for some odd reason, my backpack RNG is horrible. I would like to keep it as Walker and Harris, but I really want Unstoppable Force on there as well. I kind of feel that the stats I've got are okay, but I would prefer to have a talent as well as a bit more up on the stats that I do have. Obviously, Contractor's Gloves have got a pretty good roll, nearly at max with the weapon damage, and obviously the rest is pretty much there. Not really too bothered about upping my gloves at the moment, and obviously Fox's Prayer, I have been lucky enough to get an absolute god roll with those. Overall, this weapon build is working quite well. I am able to solo heroic quite easily, and I do enough damage to push on legendaries, although you are still obviously very, very squishy. Now, overall, I do feel this build does work, and I would ask people to try it as well as offer me suggestions. I'm still trying to get into the build theory craft in Division 2. I've come up with a few things at the moment. Haven't been able to get around to doing the raid yet. I've done 2 of the 3 legendaries as well. I've done capital building as well as the Union District Arena. Roosevelt is currently kicking my ass, which is not fun. However, if you have any suggestions and ways in which I can make this build better, I've had quite a few interesting ones such as Bloodsucker and Intimidate, and that's all well and good, but when you don't have stacks and you don't have the bonus armor from Bloodsucker, Intimidate's doing soddle and the weapon does soddle damage, so you're always fighting to get that first stack. By the time I've got that first stack, I found that I've lost it doing basically standing out in the open, which is not really a very advisable way, especially on heroic, to play. So I found that to be counterproductive, to say the least. In the meantime, guys, if you do have any thoughts, queries, questions, problems, do not hesitate to ask. If you like what you saw here, maybe click like, subscribe. All of it is free. It really does help me out. I'm trying to get a bit more back into Division and theory crafting, and so far I'm really enjoying the game. Yeah, hopefully see you again pretty damn soon. Have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.